Welcome everyone to the March edition of the Math Moment. My name is Matt Fannin. I'm the math specialist here at the ESC of Central Ohio, and looking forward to our conversation today where we continue discussing the 8 effective mathematical teaching practices based on NCTM's research. So over the past few months, if we recap here, we took a look at the first 3 effective mathematical teaching practices. So back in December, we looked at establishing mathematical goals to focus our learning. Back in January, we took a look at implementing tasks that promote reasoning and problem-solving skills. So giving students an opportunity to work on those project-based learning type of tasks, and again, building on reasoning. Last month, we took a look at connecting mathematical representations. So for example, how can you connect a graph to a table, to an equation, if you're thinking algebraically? Right? And today, we're focusing on number 4, which is facilitate meaningful mathematical discourse, with an emphasis on that word facilitate. Right? So there is some research out there that shows that if we give students the opportunity to have student discourse, right, to have that opportunity to have conversations or to be able to ask questions amongst each other or to share and analyze each other's work, right, that they're going to enhance their communicative competency and really grow in their mathematical abilities, right? And so if we think about this, there's really 2 ways that we can approach the classroom when it comes to discourse, right? And sort of the old school method is a process called initiate, respond, and evaluate, where the teacher initiates the conversations, they wait for a response from a student, and then they evaluate that response, all right? Today, we kind of want to shift gears and focus on something called facilitate, listen, and engage, right? We want to facilitate those conversations, listen in to the students as they are the ones primarily having the dialogue and asking the questions, and then help engage them or help continue that engagement amongst each other by maybe asking some probing questions, right? Because with that initiate, respond, and evaluate, the old school method, it really is teacher dominated conversations from top to bottom, right? We ask some questions, we dominate the topics, and then we kind of control where the conversation goes from there, right? It's really a vertical way of communicating from the top down. And it can create an imbalance of power in your classroom and therefore a disengagement with your students. However, if we shift gears to more of a facilitate, listen, and engage approach, it really is student-centered, where the teacher just promotes the conversation between the students, right? So really the teacher talk just engages that dialogue with the students, and then we sit back and listen, right? And students can communicate their competency through more of a horizontal communication approach, or they're at sort of the same playing field as the teacher when it comes to the conversations and to asking the questions, right? And students feel more empowered and feel like they are part of that learning community. Right, so what are some things that we can do in the classroom, right? Well, the teachers just got to create those opportunities where students can talk and share, all right? So we got to get out of that teacher-led conversation and really create those opportunities for students to position themselves to share ideas out. And then students are going to be presenting their ideas, explaining ideas to each other, whether that's in small groups, whether that's in larger class discussions, right? And give students the chance to talk amongst each other. And again, the teacher really promotes the conversation amongst each other and just asks those critical questions, or maybe kind of guides the dialogue and have asked those probing questions for the students to then take over the conversation. So some things I think of are maybe some number talks for lower level students, or I mean lower grade level students, or maybe doing a gallery walk where students present their problem, or maybe they're doing a proof in geometry where they share out their ideas and then students have an opportunity to ask questions to each group, or maybe highlight different approaches that they would do differently. So really, again, just letting the students take control of the conversation. The students or the teachers sort of take a step back and listen in and provide that critical feedback when necessary. All right, so we're almost halfway through our effective mathematical teaching practices. All right, next month we'll continue with practice number 5. Until then, I hope everybody stays safe and healthy and has a great March.